All right. Well, welcome to Shibboleth. My name is Kim Danke, and I am going to be your fast track instructor for the week. And I kind of wanted to explain to you how this group works. I've got a fast track group and a second chance group. There's absolutely no need for you to be in both those groups. I know I see some people ask to be in both of them, and they might do that because they're thinking that there's different information in both of them, but there's not. It's exactly the same. It just depends on the new members would expect to go into a new member group, and those people needing a refresh would kind of, and some people join after we send out a, hey, give us a second chance email, so that's why we call it the second chance group. But you don't need to be in both groups, they're exactly the same. And after you have finished this group, you may not want to stay in these groups because this is a 1 week group that repeats itself every single week. So you might get tired of seeing the exact same thing every single week. And you're going to get your ongoing support from the large silver level group and the Shibboleth Fixed It group. And there's going to be links in this group on Facebook so that you can join those. I keep this group on Facebook really cleaned out so that it makes it real easy for you to find things. I'm sure you've been in groups before where somebody tells you to go find something and you can't find it because there's so much happening in the feed. I keep this one cleaned out pretty good so that you can find things that you need, because you don't need it to be frustrating. You need to be able to find things that you need. If you have questions this week, like what do you guys suggest for this, or can I have this together, please ask those questions still in that silver level group, because there's over 8,000 people in that group and you're going to get a lot of varied answers. If you ask in either the fast track group or the second chance group, you're not going to get the most varied answers in that group. So, and plus we're not really monitoring that all day. So if you will, that silver level group has the best chance of you getting a answer, and an answer quickly. So I just kind of wanted you to know how that is going to work. But what we're going to do today is we are going to go over the program, because honestly, I used to be a school teacher and a principal, and I just boil everything down to how do I do this? Now, you're going to have to come up with your why you want to do this to keep you on track. And day 7 of your 7-day fast track has some videos on that, and I ask you to do that. But what we're going to do tonight is a program overview. Tomorrow night, we will also have a webinar at 8 p.m. and it's going to be a simple food combining webinar. And then every single morning, pretty early, there's going to be a video that it's me showing you how to utilize the website and giving you a little assignment, because at the end of the week, I would like for you to be able to take your test, pass your test, and earn that first fast track badge, because getting your badge is fun. And if you wanted to go ahead and watch all the fast track videos at one time, that's totally fine. It takes less than an hour to watch all of the 14 little fast track videos, but I would highly encourage you to watch the tutorial post each day and do the little assignment, because these are things that help you dive deep into really learning this and adopting it as your new lifestyle. So let's see. We have, well, welcome to Shibboleth, first of all. There you go. There are 2 modes in Shibboleth. You are either in weight loss mode or you're in maintenance mode. If you're in weight loss mode, that just means that you have not hit your goal weight yet and you don't have your victory badge. The only difference, the absolute only difference between weight loss and maintenance is that in weight loss, you have up to 6 holidays, and in maintenance, you have up to 12 holidays in a month. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And actually, I take that back. That's not the only difference. You can treat fruit slightly differently in maintenance, but otherwise it's just your holidays and how you can eat fruit. That's the only difference in weight loss and maintenance. We have 2 types of days on Shibboleth. We either have a perfect day or we have a holiday. It's that simple. You're either meeting all the components of the Shibboleth Shield to have a perfect day, or you are not meeting some component of that day. So therefore, you call it a holiday. So when you are in weight loss mode, you can have up to 6 holidays in a month, a calendar month, if you need them. But when you get into maintenance, if you want to use them, you have up to 12 holidays allowed in a calendar month. Now, here's the secret to keeping that weight off that you've had the success in getting to maintenance. Those other days need to be truly perfect days, not venturing into okay days. So you either have a holiday or a perfect day, but they need to be perfect right there for sure in maintenance because you're having so many holidays. Now that's obviously just a choice. It's an option. I had all 12 holidays in December, but this month in January, I'm only having 5 of my allowed 12. And I'm doing that because I want to make sure that I'm really telling my flesh who's in control. December, there's a lot going on. We all kind of understand that. But I didn't go over my 12 because I like to keep the integrity of the program. But up to 6 holidays in weight loss and up to 12 holidays in maintenance. And I think it's tomorrow's video, I'm going to show you how to use your profile. And in your profile, you tell it whether you're in weight loss or maintenance. And that gives you the number of holidays that you can have so that your timing chart shows up right in your account. There are 5 components to a perfect day, just 5. And 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, you need to meet those exactly to be able to have a perfect day. But this one down here, this timing one, if you don't hit it just right, then you that won't throw you off having a perfect day, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But we want to drink our water, we want to journal, we want to combine foods in a way that is not going to bring an insulin release, we want to portion control, and we want to eat thinking about timing. It takes 2 perfect days to get into what we call EFB. EFB stands for efficient fat burning. Those are my 3 favorite letters now, efficient fat burning. So day 1, you're going to see a green check in your timing chart in your account. Then you're going to see a green check for your 2nd perfect day. Your 3rd perfect day, you're going to see a flame. So it's your 3rd perfect day, but it's your 1st day in EFB. What's happening during these 2 days is your body is getting rid of insulin, which is dissipating glycogen, sodium, those kind of things, and then we can get into a state where our body can efficiently burn fat. And this is one of the secrets to Shibboleth, is getting our body into a state where it seeks out and chooses to burn fat rather than utilizing easy energy. So component number 1 of a perfect day is you want to drink your water. You want to get in at least a half a gallon of water. Your goal is a gallon. And if you're drinking this water, you're a lot less hungry. You're much more satisfied. It really does do the trick. It also metabolizes fat, flushes out toxins, and it keeps us hydrated. A dehydrated body does not give up fat or waste very efficiently, and we are not going to be able to lose weight. So you want to make sure that you are drinking at least a half a gallon of water. That's just 4 regular size water bottles. That's 64 ounces. And I wouldn't get in 63 and call it 64 because it's not 64. Make sure that you get in the 64. And again, that's all about keeping the integrity of the program. Component number 2 of a perfect day is that you are going to journal your food. So you're going to tell it what type of day you're having. You're going to have a perfect day or a holiday, and then you're going to say what you're having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there are some other options if you need them, but I only say need them because we don't really have to have them. But we might, anyway, in the beginning, you might feel like you need some. But I'd rather you use all of your resources that are available to you than give up a perfect day. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. But you want to write down everything. There are no idle bites on planet Shibboleth. If you put it in your mouth, you write it down. Also, journaling it helps you learn the program because you're thinking through the combinations that are so, so important that we're going to learn. Component number 3 of a perfect day is eating properly combined meals. Properly combined meals keep away the fat bus. We're going to talk about that one in just a second because it's bigger than that one page. Component number 4 of a perfect day is to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the 2-hand rule. The 2-hand rule is that you put your hands together just like that, as close as you can get them, and you lay them down over your food. And if you can't see your food sticking all out around your hands, you have properly portioned that meal. You want it to be properly combined underneath your hands, but you also want to properly portion. A pound of fat has 3,500 calories in it, and so we are trying to get into a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. And we're properly combining our foods because it's not just about calories. If it were just about calories, then 1,000 calories of Moose Tracks ice cream in a day would do the exact same thing in your body as 1,000 calories of chicken breast and broccoli. But you don't get the same results from those things. So it's not all about just calories. It's also about the nutrition behind it, and that is your proper combinations. Okay, so we need to portion control right here. Now, the first 4 that we talked about, water, journaling, combinations, and portion control, those are musts. You must hit those properly to be able to call it a perfect day. This one right here, although it's extremely important, it is for optimization, okay? We realize that every single person has a different schedule, a different daily schedule. Some people are up at the crack of dawn, off at work. Some people work a second shift or a third shift and that kind of thing, and they have to figure out when their breakfast, lunch, and dinner is. And if you work in a classroom, a lot of teachers, you work in a classroom, you have to figure out what works best for you in that classroom for different things. So, because you can't leave the kids, obviously. But this is for optimization, and we really don't want you to have more than 3 meals a day, 3 meals a day. So when you wake up, you're going to eat within an hour or 2 of waking. But if I have anybody listening tonight or today, whenever you listen to this, if I have anybody listening who doesn't like to eat breakfast, you don't have to eat breakfast. You could fast until lunch. But optimally, if you do like to eat breakfast, then eat within an hour or 2 of waking. And then you're going to eat lunch 4 to 6 hours later, and then you're going to eat dinner 4 to 6 hours later. You really can set your clock and say, I'm beat the clock. I'm not going to eat until this timer goes off. So that's one way right there to train yourself to eat 4 to 6 hours between meals. Now, but sometimes people get hungry, and we call this having a moment of weakness, because you really could make it from breakfast to lunch and lunch to dinner. But sometimes we have moments of weakness. And if we have moments of weakness, it is better to use what we call a freebie, an extra, or a snack than to just throw up your hands and have a bag of chips that aren't approved or something like that. So it's better to utilize these options than to give up a perfect day. So what freebies are things like your category 2 vegetables, dill pickles, egg whites, sugar-free Jell-O. There's a whole bunch of freebies. And if you go to our food library, you're going to be able to click on a link called extras. And once you click on that link, it'll show you, not extras, freebies. Click on the one that says freebies, and you can just read all the things that are suggested for freebies. And there's a little heart button. You can click that heart, and it will put all of your favorites into your own personal food library in your journal, which is really, really cool. But This also has to do with the portions, which what we're trying not to do is we're trying not to graze. We're trying not to graze. We are not cows. We don't need to graze. So we have breakfast for the Father, lunch for the Son, and dinner for the Holy Spirit. And that is when we should eat. But if we start adding in all this other stuff, it kind of looks like grazing. But remember when I talked about the 3,500 calories that we are trying to get into a calorie deficit to get rid of a pound of fat in the portion part? If we do freebies all day long, they could eventually add up depending on how many freebies that you do. So we're just going to say that adds up to about 30 calories. Doesn't sound like much, does it? But then let's say you do an extra, and an extra is about 70 calories. Yeah, around about 50 to 90 is what they are, but let's just say 70. So we got 30 calories and 70 calories. That's a total of 100 calories. And let's say a snack. Well, we don't do any snacks that are over 200 calories. So let's say we added all that up. That's 300 calories in a day. And if we're trying to go backwards by 3,500 calories, the 300 additional calories right there is just slowing down our progress, okay? So it just kind of depends on how quickly you want to get there. Are you taking a scenic route to your destination, or did you get on the interstate to take your trip, get to your destination? But I highly recommend that you use those if you're about to throw up your hands and give up a perfect day because of hunger. Okay, so utilize those, because utilizing these won't bring you out of efficient fat burning. It adds calories, so it slows that process down, but it won't take you out of efficient fat burning. And the reason that we do timing like that is it is all about your metabolism. If we eat too much food, and I know that you may have heard over the years, oh, 5 to 6 small meals is better. It's not. It's not. It suffocates your metabolism. It slows it down. We got to give our body a break from digesting, but we need to fuel our metabolism, let it burn, and then fuel it again and let it burn. But if we're always putting food on top of our metabolism, it is damaging our metabolism by suffocating it. So that's why we eat 3 meals a day, and we do those other things if necessary. My first freebie that I highly suggest that y'all go to is water. I use the Shibboleth Shield, those 5 components we just went through. I use that to filter every single decision I make in a day. I filter my decisions through that. So let's say mid-afternoon, I'm thinking, man, I really want something. And I go, okay, have I had my water? Usually I have not been getting my water in. And if I just go start doing that, then I'm okay, because you feel much more satisfied when you get your water in. This is why I say to get your water in early, because once you get your water in early, it keeps you more satisfied throughout the day. So that is a strategy that I hope that you adopt. Well, component number 3 of the Shibboleth Shield was combining foods in a way that don't create an insulin release. So in order to do that, you've got to learn the 7 categories of food that we got to use the 7 categories of, we got to learn the 7 categories of food that we use. So what Travis and the team have done is they have put all whole foods, basically, it's basically whole foods. We do have meal replacements, and we do have frozen foods and other foods in the middle of the grocery store, but this is really the best for weight loss, and then we can kind of branch out into those other things, because this is a practical, sustainable, and fun lifestyle. So we really include everything. We just teach you which ones are the best to use. But you got to learn the 7 categories, and then what you want to do is learn the foods that you like. What categories are they in? Because on Shibboleth, you don't have to eat anything that you don't like, which is great. And you don't need to worry about what you can't have. You got to focus on what you can have. So you learn these, then you learn the foods that you like, what categories they're in, and then you just combine them in the right way. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go over these 7 categories, and then I'm going to give you some tips on combining. So category 1 is a lean protein. Category 2 is a fibrous carb. Category 3 is an energy carb. Category 4 is a protein plus fat. Category 5 is an antioxidant carb or fruit. Category 6 is superfood. Category 7 is shellfish. which is really just a lean protein. So category 1 and category 7 are really just lean proteins. Shellfish got pulled off for allergies and biblical reasons. So some people don't want to eat shellfish, so they just kind of put it down there. So if you don't eat shellfish, then we just don't have, you don't have to worry about any of the combinations that have a 7 in them. So, but all fish is up here. This is shellfish. So, but look right here, category 2 and 3. Let's talk about these two categories. There's a lot of vegetables in there. There is a lot of vegetables right there. But not all vegetables respond in the same way in your body. So you have to treat them in the way they respond in your body. So that's why you got to figure out which ones you like in those categories. I spent some time going through the food library and reading which ones were which so that I would know. And then this is another carb, this category 5 is an antioxidant carb, but it's all of your fruit. Absolutely all of your fruit is in there. So I'm gonna go through the 5 things that we can eat by themselves, because there are 5 categories that you don't even have to combine at all. So you can eat a lean protein by itself. You can eat fibrous carbs by themselves. You can eat a protein plus fat by itself in a pinch. I always just say in a pinch, and I'll explain that in a second. You can eat superfood by itself, and you can eat shellfish by itself. So there's 5 of the 7 categories that you could eat by themselves. You just don't eat a 3 by itself ever, unless you call it a holiday. And 5, you don't eat it by itself when you're in weight loss. In maintenance, you can eat a category 5 fruit by itself as a snack, but not in weight loss. In weight loss, you can still have your fruit. It just has to be treated a little bit differently. So while we're on that topic, we're going to look at that category 3 and that category 5. If you want a category 3, let's just say you want some corn. Let's just say you want some blueberries. You could do about 1/4 cup of it. You must pair it, though, with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Lean protein and fibrous carb. So if you're going to eat a category 3 energy carb and a category 5 fruit, it must be paired with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. See, what happens is a little bit of an insulin release is going to come from these, okay? But honestly, you're not eating a ton of it because you're portion controlling, okay? You're portion controlling. So a little bit of an insulin release is going to come, but you're letting the protein and the lean protein and the fiber and the fibrous carb negate the insulin release that is coming from those two. It's science, okay? First of all, it is science, and now that you know that, that right there is how you efficiently burn fat. So you efficiently burn fat by not giving your body easy energy. See, category 3s are easy energy. Category 5s are easy energy, and slightly the category 6, but not nearly as much as the 3s and the 5s. So the category 3 and the 5, easy energy. So let's say that you go out and you're doing some exercise, you're expending some energy. If you've given your body some energy carbs or some fruit, just like human beings, to take the path of least resistance, it is going to access that instead of burning stored fat. But we want to get to stored fat, right? So that's why we don't give it this or this in the beginning. Now you can do it and it won't take you out of EFB. It's just that it's a slower process. But you know, this is a lifestyle and you've got to enjoy the journey. So, but I'll tell you what I did in the beginning. I would stick with this 1 and 2 put together is the best fat burning combination. But on the day that I felt like I wanted a holiday, but I didn't want to take a true holiday, that's when I'd venture out and doing a category 3 and a category 5 with combinations. So I knew I was slowing down the process but a little bit due to the energy in your body is going to use it first before accessing stored fat, but it was worth it and I didn't come out of EFB. So that is how you want to think about that. Now category 4 You can eat it by itself, but optimally, you will eat that with a category 2 fibrous carb. The reason I say that you can eat it by itself is because it's a great protein for you. It's just got a little bit more fat in it. And so that the fat would be an easy, accessible energy for your body to use before accessing stored fat. And you want to actually put it with this fibrous carb when you can. But if you woke up in the morning and all you had was whole eggs in your refrigerator, make yourself some whole eggs and then go to the grocery store, get what you need. Or maybe you show up at an event and there's all this food there, but it doesn't work for you, but there's a piece of meat there that you can eat. Eat it. But optimally, you're going to pair it with a category 2. This is also really important for when you're at a restaurant. If you're at a restaurant, you want to order all meat. Even if at home you cooked it, it would be a lean protein. At a restaurant, you have to consider it a 4. And then you would know at that point in time, I'm going to order a side salad. I'm going to order green beans or broccoli or vegetable medley or squash or whatever they've got as the fibrous carb. That's what you would order in a restaurant. But let's talk about this, because this is huge. You never pair a 4 with a 3, a 5, or a 6. You don't put a protein plus fat with an energy carb, fruit, or superfood. Now, with that said, what that is, if you wanted to have surf and turf, you could have a piece of steak and some lobster. That's okay. And then you're going to pair it with a category 2. So you could do that if you wanted to. And you could put some type of steak with some chicken. You'll pair it with a category 2. But it still has to fit underneath your hands. But see, pairing those things together is going to give you all like the flavors that you want. Oftentimes people want a flavor in their mouth. Like I might have a craving for lima beans or something. If I want some lima beans, that's okay. I'll get the flavor. I'm not going to overeat those lima beans, and I'm going to eat them with possibly a chicken breast and some green beans, and that would be a perfectly combined meal. But we're going to visit this right here, protein plus fat with an energy carb. And the best example that I have to talk about is the classic order at a steakhouse. So you have a steak and a baked potato. Well, first of all, the baked potato is not reasonably sized. It's huge, and that brings a huge insulin release. And then you are eating this steak, which is a protein plus fat. So there is some fat running around in your body. So what happens is the fat by itself wouldn't really be a problem, but it's that the potato releases insulin. And I'm going to visit this right now, but we're going to cover it again in just a second. Insulin is a hormone. It is a growth hormone. The specific type of growth hormone that it is, it's a fat storage hormone. Okay, this I didn't know before, Shibboleth. You're listening to this. You may, if you're refreshing, you might have heard Travis say that before. But if you're brand new, that might be something that you just went, wow, why would I need a fat storage hormone? But it is. Insulin is also, it's a fat storage hormone. It stops EFB for up to 2 days, and it increases your appetite. So if you're ever hungry after your holidays and you're going back to your perfect days, you just need to tell yourself that it's the insulin, and that will dissipate and go away. You may not really be hungry. It's just that insulin elevates your appetite. Okay, but this right here, you've eaten that steak. There are some fat lipids in your body. If you paired it with this fibrous carb category 2, no insulin came to go and pick up the fat lipids to store them. But if you pair it with that, huge insulin release, and it's going to go around and it's going to pick up those fat lipids and it's going to store them. We call that the fat bus. The fat bus. And I'm going to go over that in just a second on a different page. Now this superfood, usually it's best to pair that with a category 2. But you can have it by itself. You can have it with a 2. And you can also have it with a 7 or a 1. And that's really the rules. But there's a chart called the advanced combination chart, and there are columns based on how efficiently they burn fat, and you just live by those little columns and you figure out what you like to eat, and then you constantly are growing your list of what you like to eat. So I love this, absolutely love this system. I already said all of that. Okay, so you're going to want to familiarize yourself with that chart, but in the beginning, whatever you do, please keep it simple. The fastest fat burning combination is a 1 with a 2 cooked in MCT oil, or a 7 with a 2 cooked in MCT oil. Now I am going to debunk the myth that there is math in Shibboleth. Just because there's plus signs does not mean there is math in Shibboleth. You're not adding anything, you're not calculating anything. All you're doing is putting things together on a plate. So we just say 1 plus 2 plus MCT. We could just say 1 and 2 and MCT. But you see what I'm saying, but I am saying that because I do get that question. Okay, so this is what I want you to stick with in the beginning. This is gonna get you the biggest jump start. And you know what? If you plan on starting this tomorrow, I truly believe that you can lose 7 pounds in your first 7 days if you jump in tomorrow. And there is absolutely no reason that you cannot do this starting tomorrow, because you can get your water in, you can journal your food, you can portion control, and you can try to eat on the right timing. You might have to just figure out what you're going to do for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have to figure out what you're going to eat. You may have some stuff in your pantry there that you can eat. Just look it up or see if it's in the right combination. But it's not that hard, and a lot of this is just switching over a couple of products. Maybe the bread that you have at home doesn't work. Maybe you need to do the Sara Lee Delightful 45-calorie multigrain bread. Maybe you need to switch a tortilla over to the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber tortilla. So some of this program is just switching over products. This is a very product specific program because we have looked at those products to make sure they have enough protein, enough fiber, and less of the things that we don't need in it. But all these things taste great to me. So some of it's switching a product, but you could start this tomorrow. Don't overthink it. Please don't overthink it. Just jump right in. And I believe 7 pounds in 7 days. A lot of people have a lot greater success than that, but I just think that's a good average. Throw in a few meal replacements, and then you start branching out, because meal replacements are good for weight loss. Okay, so I saw a question pop up, so I am going to stop right here and ask. Carol, if you fast until lunch, so if you fast until lunch, really, I would say you're giving up breakfast. And honestly, you should just have lunch and dinner. You might could have a snack. Now, you could get in all 3 meals if you wanted to, but that doesn't give our body a break. And honestly, it depends on what time you quit eating dinner. We suggest that you not eat about 4 hours before bed for digestive purposes. But if you fast until lunch, I would kind of consider that you gave up breakfast. So I would eat lunch and dinner. And then if you had to have a freebie, you could have a freebie maybe somewhere in there. Hope that answers your question. Oh, and no calorie seltzer water is fine. Now you want to still get in regular water. Okay, Catherine, you wanted to see the combinations again on the page before this one? I didn't really have any combinations up there. I just had the categories. I have the categories, but you're going to want to get the advanced combination chart for the combinations, okay? You're going to want to do that. And this, you can actually go find it. It's in the video. It's in the 10 blue links right above the videos. That's where you're going to get your chart, but these are the categories. And Jason, on the hemp parts, I am not a hemp specialist. So there is a whole video in the video library. If you'll go to the video library and search for hemp, it will pull up the videos on hemp. I'm sorry, I just am not a hemp heart specialist. But we're going to talk a little bit about them tomorrow night. We talked about all that, so I'm going to flip. But right now, we're going to talk about another wow moment. This is so crazy. I did not know this before Shibboleth. How many of you have ever gone to the gym thinking, I'm going to lose weight, and you are working your tail off and nothing happens? You don't lose any weight. Or maybe you are, then you even say, okay, I'm going to give myself a month, and really nothing has happened, and you're working yourself to death in the gym. Well, it's because we're giving ourselves easy, accessible energy with the energy carbs and the fruit and everything. Yeah, Nicole, I gotcha. And so we're going, okay, so MCT oil, we suggest that you purchase the MCT oil from the Shibboleth store because we believe it's truly the best. It is zero drag, 100% MCT oil. Or if you don't want to buy that, you could do the Now brand on Amazon. Those are the ones that Travis recommends. And I just go with what Travis recommends. He's got a background in sports nutrition. He has been biohacking for 20 years, and I just go with what he says. Joanne, you can use coconut oil instead of MCT, but it's our second recommended. It's our second recommended because it is 60% MCT oils when we suggest that you use the 100% MCT oils. And Tracy Wadley, are you the Tracy Wadley that I know from Girl Scouts? If you are, type on here for me, please, that you are her. If you're not, I know a girl named Tracy Wadley. Anyway, MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglyceride. Medium chain triglyceride burns up almost immediately. In fact, it burns up so quickly that you need to cook on low to medium heat. Otherwise, you're going to set off your smoke detector. So to me, that statement, that knowledge, knowing that it does that, just proves to you that it burns up quickly, Hey, Tracy, oh my goodness. I'm excited that you're here. Okay, so it burns up very quickly, but let's compare that to what we have always used. We've always used a long chain triglyceride. That, well, not always. That's the typical one because a lot of people have gone to coconut oil over the years. But anyway, canola oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, all those types of things. I'm going to answer that question in just a second, Nicole. So, oh, and if y'all want all of the people to see your question, type it to all panelists and attendees. When it goes to all panelists, I just see it. And other people also might be interested in knowing what you're asking. But Nicole is asking if she can take it at MCT oil as like a supplement, and I'm going to answer that in just a second. But long chain triglyceride is those things I just mentioned. Now, as the name suggests, we've got medium chain triglyceride and long chain triglyceride. Which one takes longer to burn up? The long one, okay? So it takes a long, long time to burn up. Well, guess what it is? It's fat. There's fat running around in your body. You're at the gym, you're working your tail off, you're exercising, and you don't know why anything's not moving. But, you know, when you make your pancakes in the morning, you're using canola oil, or when you're dipping some bread in some olive oil, or you're doing these different things, you're giving your body easily accessible energy. So when you go and expend some calories, even if you're not a person that goes to the gym all the time, you know, just living expends calories, but you are expending some calories, some energy. It needs, your body needs some energy. So it is going to access the easiest energy. If it's got long chain triglycerides running around in there, it's going to access those first. And when it accesses those first, what is it not getting to? It is not getting to our stored fat. MCT MCT oil burns up like that, we're out there, we're expending energy just living or going to the gym. And because it doesn't have any easily accessible energy because we've used MCT or coconut oil, that kind of thing, and we've not really been giving it a lot of category 3s or 5s. Now remember, this is what we're trying to do for weight loss. You can treat fruit differently in maintenance, but we're not giving it those things because we're trying to accomplish a goal, the goal of weight loss, but we haven't done those things. So when we do things that expend energy, it has to access the stored fat that we're trying to get rid of. That's a secret. That is a secret to weight loss. MCT oil, and not giving our body easily accessible energy that it's going to use up first before it gets to stored fat. And unless we're bodybuilders and marathon runners and all those kind of things, we're not burning all that up. So our body never got to the stored fat. So now you put this whole shield together, you put all of this information together as one package, because it's not just one thing, it's all of it. If you put all that together, then you are in EFB. And what you want to do then, you string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can. And that is where you're going to see that awesome, great weight loss. Isn't that exciting? Y'all tell me if you're excited about that. But Nicole, let me answer that question. So Nicole's question was, can you take a spoonful of MCT instead of cooking with it? We do not recommend that. We do not recommend taking it as a supplement. We do not recommend you making bulletproof coffee or anything like that with it. You want to use it for a purpose, and you want to use it for the purpose of cooking. Now here, think about this. I'm going to explain why. 1 tablespoon, which is your serving. If you're cooking yourself 1 piece of, let's just say chicken. 1 piece of chicken is in your pan, you can use 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. If you're cooking for the family and you're cooking 4 pieces of chicken, then you could use 4 tablespoons of MCT oil because it's going to need it. But you're taking that 1 tablespoon of MCT oil and say, because you're hearing me say it's good for you, right? You're hearing me say that it's good. It also has like a slightly thermic effect, which helps heat up and burn calories. You're hearing me say it's good, but here's what it's not good for. It's not good just to randomly put 100 calories in your body. Because if you're just putting a random 100 calories in your body, there's 100 calories that are slowing you down to get to the 3,500 calorie deficit to lose a pound of fat. So you use it for the purpose of cooking. And if you think about it, some of those calories are going to burn up in the process of cooking. So you're not actually taking in all 100 calories. And then the rest of it burns up like that. So you don't want to just take it as a supplement. So use it for the purpose of cooking. Our other suggested oils are coconut oil would be our second. Ghee butter, so maybe you need something that needs a butter flavor, approved grilled cheese, that kind of thing. It's a clarified butter, and then obviously 0-calorie cooking spray would work as well. But I mean, I'm excited about knowing how to get my body into efficient fat burning. See, weight loss before was always one of those things that seemed elusive. It's like, okay, I can really restrict myself and I can lose some weight, but am I going to be able to stay there? Am I going to know how to maintain it? See, this is knowing how to stay there and maintain it. Awesome. I got a question. Okay, Carol, is there a list somewhere that has more common brands of food instead of the harder to find brands? Well, I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Most of the brands that I purchase, I just get from Kroger, Publix, Ingles. The Sara Lee bread, I just bought that at Publix yesterday. So I'm not exactly sure what product maybe you're looking for. And Phyllis is saying right here, the library is full of options. Yeah, the food library will give you all kinds of things to look for. And there, some random items do end up in the food library because somebody might find one obscure thing that works that they like, and then we'll add it to the food library so that if somebody else finds that item, they'll know that it works. But is Brummel and Brown yogurt butter approved? I think so. I'd have to look it up though, because I don't know, because I don't use it. So anything that I ever want to know if it's approved is I just go to the food library and look it up. But somebody else that's on here may know the answer to that, because there were a lot of refreshing people on here that you may know that. Okay, so MCT oil and why this works, that's exciting. So don't bring the fat bus. Right after I watched all of, see, Travis used to teach the program in the 26 little daily doses, little videos called the daily doses, but then he asked me to do fast track instead. And then if people, we do highly encourage people to watch those daily doses too, but this is just kind of quicker and easier, straight to the point. I love Travis's videos though, because he's very motivational and he really makes you think about things. I'm just get down to the nitty gritty and tell you how to do it. You do have to figure out why, and Travis is very good at doing that. But when he was talking about the fat bus, and then I learned what insulin was, that it is the fat bus. The reason it's called the fat bus is because a bus's job is to pick up people and take them to their destination. Well, insulin's job is to pick up fat and take fat to its destination. Where's its destination? Somebody tell me where the destination is. Yep, Nicole said it. Cheryl said it. Okay, we got the B-U-T-T on there. Karen's big bootay is what Travis calls it. And then hips and, yep, butt, thighs, abs. So all sorts of places. Jason said his gut. Yeah, so it takes it there. Well, now that we know that there is such a thing, think back. Now I want you to think back to that classic order: a meat and a potato. The potatoes bringing the insulin release. The steak or hamburger, the fatty one, has that fat in it. Those fat lipids are all in your body. That insulin is seeking them out to pick them up and store them. So just don't pair a category 4 protein plus fat with the things that bring an insulin release. Definitely not the energy carbs, the fruit, or the superfood. See, superfood's good for you. It just has all the macronutrients in it, so therefore we need to treat it a little bit differently, so you don't eat it with a category 4, but you can eat it with a 1, 2, or a 7. After a holiday, it takes 2 days to get back into efficient fat burning. So just remind yourself of that. Now, the next thing, people always say to me, what am I gonna eat? What do I eat? Oh my goodness, there is so much food on Planet Shibboleth. I mean, I had food brought back into my life. I'd cut food out thinking that's not good for me and this is not good for me. I want you to forget anything that you thought you knew about nutrition. Just forget it and start fresh with this knowledge, because this works. I dropped 50 pounds last year, and I didn't even know I had 50 pounds to lose. My goal was to lose 35.5 pounds, and I lost 50, and I've been maintaining that since August. And I had chocolate brought back into my life. I don't feel deprived for sweet things because I can eat a sweet meal replacement. I mean, it's just amazing. So this is what I suggest that people do. You're going to want to go into the food library and look at the lean proteins. Pick yourself out about 10 lean proteins and write them on a piece of paper. And then pick yourself out about 10 fibrous carbs and write them on a piece of paper. And then you literally are going to draw a line from one to the other and say, I think that chicken breast and broccoli is going to taste good. I'm going to cook that chicken breast in some MCT oil, and I'm going to have exercise on a plate. Exercise on a plate. You know why? Because we're not giving ourselves any easy energy, therefore it has to access, and any time we expend energy, it has to access stored fat. And the digestive system is being reconstituted, basically. We're sending blood flow to the digestive system to break down the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in the fibrous carb. It takes almost more calories to burn up that meal than were in that meal. So it's almost a negative calorie meal. So that's why we call it exercise on a plate. So then you might go, you know what? I'm going to have some London broil and some green beans. I'm going to cook that London broil in some MCT oil, and I've got a category 1 plus 2 plus MCT, and I've got exercise on a plate. So that's just how you make little meals in the beginning. And then throw in a few meal replacements for simplicity, because we live in a busy world and you may or may not have time to make breakfast. You may or may not time to make lunch or anything. So have some meal replacements that you like. I love the Power Crunch bars. Those are so yummy. I do the hemp bars from the Shibboleth store. Woo, they are delicious and they are so satisfying. In a hemp bar, it's a 12-inch bar. You cut it at 4 inches and at 8 inches. A third of the bar is a meal replacement. You can eat those for breakfast or lunch. I don't recommend that you eat them for dinner because they could be, they're energizing, and so you don't want to have that at night. So you throw in some meal replacements for simplicity. When I'm headed out the door in the mornings, I throw in something in my purse. If I'm going to a luncheon, I go to a lot of luncheons. Go to a luncheon, and they may not have something that I am willing to eat. And so therefore, I'm happily eating my oatmeal protein pie. I happily eat my cinnamon roll 1 bar. I happily eat my buff baked cookies. I happily eat my grab the gold bar. And guess what? All those things were sweet. I felt like I had a dessert, and I didn't feel like I missed out on whatever might have been served at that place. So throw in some meal replacements for sure, because they make your life very, very easy and simple. And then last but not least, you guys, Shibboleth, we know it's a ministry. It's a ministry, and I'm sure that you sometimes wonder, those of you that are refreshing, you know how much Travis and Sasha and the team put into this, and you might wonder how in the world do they stay open on $50 a year. It's hard. I'm going to admit it. It's hard, but we do it because we want to give you the absolute most that we can for the least amount of money that we can charge and keep the lights on and keep the people employed. So that's what we're trying to offer you, because you know what? Weight loss and wellness is a multi-billion, I said billion-dollar industry. But see, Travis and Sasha are not, they're led by the Lord. And so being led by the Lord, they want to give you the secrets of Shibboleth and help you in this journey so that you can get to be where you want to be. And all the people that are helping you, they've been where you are right now, and they've overcome, and they are where you want to be, and they're going to help you. So we've got Joni, Missy, and Kim Shibboleth. Their last name is not Shibboleth. That's just the name they use on Facebook to do their job. And they are wonderful, and they will be happy to help you. They're the ones that do mentor appointments and everything. So, okay, Carol, you asked me to write my favorite meal replacements. You know what? I will do that, and I will put it in the group. Okay, so let me just tell you, this is funny. In my first 20 days, I probably ate 30 Mighty Muffins. That sounds ridiculous, but this is what I want you to know. And I have in the Fast Track group and in the Second Chance group, if you go back to one of the posts, there's a spreadsheet in there of what I ate for my first 20 days. And I lost 12.5 pounds in that 20 days. I lost 9 pounds in my first week. I lost 12.5 pounds in the first 20 days. And in the first month, I lost 18.5 pounds. I lost 10% of my body weight in exactly 1 month. doing this. But I have in there what I ate for the first 20 days, and I think there's some kind of ridiculous number, like 30 Mighty Muffins in there. But what I want to tell you about that is it's not a brilliant meal plan. It was me trying to figure out how to do this and how to make the best of it. I wanted to eat stuff that tasted good. I found these Mighty Muffins were awesome, and I don't eat nearly the amount of Mighty Muffins. You're welcome, Carol. I don't eat nearly the amount of Mighty Muffins that I did then, but you got to do what you got to do to get that jump start and then continue figuring out the lifestyle, okay? So y'all have a look at that in the group. But we have awesome Facebook support, awesome. In the silver level group, that's where you're going to get most of your support. If you've got any questions this week about, like, you're wanting an opinion, make sure you ask it in that group, because you're going to get a lot more opinions than in the new member and the second chance group, because new members are new. So ask in the silver level group. And then let's say that you go, well, can I eat this? Or can I have this with this? Or what would you call this? Put that in the Shibboleth Fixed It group, because Kim Shibboleth will give you amazing answers. And there's also a lot of people in there that will answer, but she's the authority on that, and she monitors that group. So you utilize that. We have an amazing website. It can be overwhelming at the beginning because there's so much in there, but if you will just stay in the hot colored tabs up top, stay in those tabs and just kind of play around with the food library. And honestly, if you will just do the little videos that I show you this week, just stay in there, and then you can start to branch out and everything, okay? Tammy, where do I buy what? Oh, the Mighty Muffins. Okay, Mighty Muffins. So the Mighty Muffins, there's 10 or more flavors. I don't know. We carry all the flavors at the Shibboleth store. You can buy the Mighty Muffins in Kroger. I find them to be a little expensive in Kroger. You can also buy them at Walmart. They run about $2.49 at Walmart, but they don't have that great a selection. So the best selection would be at the Shibboleth store, but you can also order them on Amazon or from the Flapjack company. But I'm going to put in the plug for the Shibboleth store. Please support the Shibboleth store, because it helps us keep the ministry going. But nothing is required to be purchased from Shibboleth to do this. Okay, so then you also want to make yourself a mentor appointment. So this is what I suggest that you do. I suggest that you go to mentor.genbook.com right now, but schedule that appointment for next week. And the reason I say that is we're training together this week, and you need to go ahead and have your appointment scheduled for next week. And that way, any questions that may come up this week, you can ask them. And then just focus in. Focus in. That's what this says down here. Focus in on the fast track. Take it seriously. Tomorrow morning, go, I'm going to look for that post. I'm going to watch that video. I'm going to watch the fast track videos. I'm going to do the assignment. And then tomorrow night, we have a webinar on simple food combining. And then Tuesday morning, I'm going to look for her post. And if you take it seriously, you can just have this program down, and then you just start living it as a lifestyle. You're going to have amazing success. I promise you will. You'll have amazing success, and you'll be able to keep this off for life. If you have not liked the Shibboleth public page yet, please do that too. I do a daily devotion there in the mornings. It'll always be Monday through Friday before 8 a.m. And then if I do it on Saturday, it's going to be a bonus, and I won't go on there on Sundays. But I do a devotional, and it really is just kind of a way for us. It's a kind of an accountability thing for us too. So if you will like Shibboleth, and even if you can't watch it live as it's going on, because it isn't interactive, I talk to you guys, I have people talk to me through the feed, the comments. If you can't watch it right then, it will be on the Shibboleth public page, and you can go back and watch it later. But if you like the page, you'll at least be notified and know it's coming. All right. I've talked and talked. It's 9:03. Okay, so Carol asked, can you put the different Facebook support groups and what types of questions you should put on each one in the silver page? The stuff that goes in the silver page just runs so fast because so many people are posting in there. I have that listed in, are you in the Fast Track group? Are you in the Second Chance group, Carol? Oh, thank you, Phyllis. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, my whole goal in this, if y'all will, if you did not watch last, I don't even know what day it is, if you go back into the Shibboleth public page and you find, it was middle of last week, I think it was last Wednesday, find that video. It says hashtag not ashamed of the crying. That's the one. Watch that one because it's going to tell you how much Shibboleth means to me. And I have literally found my ministry platform in Shibboleth. If I am able to help you guys learn how to do this and you feel better about yourself, you're going to do so much more in life because we just do when we feel better. And to me, this is following the Lord because this is his temple. He only gives us one and we got to learn how to take care of it. But you know what? Some of these things we didn't know before. I just explained them right now. Well, now that you know them, you're responsible for doing something with them. So, so I found my ministry platform. But if y'all will go back, please, and watch last week where it says hashtag not ashamed of the crying or something like that on the Shibboleth public page, you'll see how much this means to me. And I am happy to help you guys. Happy to help you. Okay, Carol, you're welcome. Cheryl, you're welcome. Carol, you're in Fast Track. Okay, so if you'll go into the Fast Track group and look for the post that says join now, all of those are listed. And pretty much, you're welcome, Rebecca. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, my friend. I'm glad to be connected with you again. Oh, awesome, Carol. Thank you. Thank you. I love compliments from former teachers because that is one of the highest that you can get, I promise. But Carol, if you'll go in there, I'll go in there and add some info to that one. So I'll put it right there for you. Well, y'all let me know if you have any questions before we pop off, but if you will, join tomorrow night at 8 because we're going to look at actual foods and go over what types of foods are in each categories and what to put together. And then I'm going to show you a couple of other things on the website. You're welcome, Beth. You're welcome. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Wow, 50 years in education, Phyllis. Wow, that's awesome. Carol, there is a meeting in Cartersville tomorrow night. I'm teaching. It's going to be at 6 p.m. And we're going to be talking about EFB some more because you just can't get enough of the EFB. Hey, Rebecca. Hey there. Rebecca, if you were late and feel like you missed anything, then it will be recorded. I'm going to upload it to YouTube right now, and it will be in the group shortly, in less than an hour. You're welcome, Carol. And Rebecca, I don't know if with the kids you could come to Cartersville tomorrow night, but there is a meeting in Cartersville tomorrow night. But if not, just watch this review. And tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we're going to have a different webinar on simple food combining. And then just make sure you watch the posts each day this week. Each day this week. All right. Well, I'm going to end the recording. Bye, y'all.